Man, did the lefties shoot gallons of venom his way over this, and they have been for 5 years. So now, as Obamacare implodes and costs balloon, guess what? Governor Walker's owed an apology. The harsh fiscal reality emerging on the Obamacare Medicaid expansion program is that beginning next year, states will be obligated to pay their share of 5% of the program's cost, with a 10% state match on the horizon, coupled with the program's over-enrollment, cost overruns, waste, fraud, and abuse. Medicaid expansion is going to devour state budgets over the next 10 years. I stumbled there over the notion of over-enrollment. They're talking about over-enrollment of the Medicaid, where the only success that Obamacare has had is to dump all sorts of people onto Medicaid, including more than should be on it. You have these matches coming up for the states of 5 or 10%. Next year, Buckeye taxpayers will be on the hook for over $130 million to meet the 5% state match, more than double the projected $55 million. So when John Kasich took this money to expand Medicaid in Ohio, and did so saying, well, this is the compassionate thing to do, and suggested that governors like Scott Walker were not compassionate or being stupid not to take this money. When Kasich took this money, he knew that the state was going to be responsible for some of the bills eventually. Who's the stooge now? And this guy should be our president. Who's the dope now? Kasich and these governors that took the money, or Governor Walker? Who's the fool now, Walker or Tammy Baldwin, who said you got to take this money? As recently as, 2 weeks ago, a week ago? Who's the dope now, Baldwin, Feingold, Barca, Gwen Moore, Lena Taylor? The answer is they're all dopes. I could go on forever. Every moron Democrat who ever beat Walker up on this owes him an apology, including the editors of the Journal-Sentinel. And, of course, Governor Walker won't get it because they'll try to keep up this delusion that Obamacare is not going to swamp state budgets, but it will. It is a certainty. It's a certainty unless these states can convince Obama and the Democrats to pay all the bills rather than transitioning them onto the states. Walker vindicated again. Everyone together now, especially you liberals, I want to see you mouthing the words, "Thank you, Governor Walker." I didn't see some of you mouth the words. Thank you, Governor Walker. This is Governor Walker finding a much smarter way to do this. And as a result, we dodged a huge bullet here. Assemblyman Joe Sanfilippo from the West Dallas area is calling in. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Jace. Great. I am so glad you're talking about this topic because since I've been in the Assembly for the last 2 terms, we've heard just nothing from the Democrats, but over and over again how Governor Walker should have taken this money and how we're missing the boat. And now the truth is finally coming out, which is something that we predicted all along.
Alberta Darling, Senator Alberta Darling is calling in. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jay. So glad you're talking about this issue. As a co-chair of Joint Finance, we heard over and over and over again how we had to use this money. People all over the state were saying, take the money, take the money. And you know what? We had a $700 million hole in Medicaid, and we were just struggling every year. Every time we get to the budget, there's a hole. We didn't have the revenues growing as fast as we had hoped, but we weren't under budget with the revenues. We were not over budget with the revenues to the point we could put more money into education and in the university system, but we had to put it into Medicaid. Can you imagine right now if we were facing that challenge that we would be facing another huge hole because the federal government doesn't own up to what it's supposed to do in terms of the match for Medicaid.
You hope people will recognize this. I can't imagine how the left is going to spin this, but I know they're going to spin it as we're still crazy on this, and Governor Walker and Alberta Darling should still take the money.